Right then, guys, let's talk about something. How much do you really need in life? There's massive discussions in today's era about needing billions to be able to survive. It's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. It's just waffle to help you buy courses and stuff. You don't need a lot. To be truly happy, you don't need a lot. And this is coming from a 33-year-old man that chased everything. I used to do visualization on like a black Ferrari or a black Lamborghini Aventador. I used to like pull up to the lights in my head. I used to pull up to the lights and I'd sit there and I'd be like, everyone's looking, I'm playing my favorite song. There's a beautiful woman, she thinks I'm the fucking man. I tell her hop in, you know, all that kind of crap. So that's coming from a guy who used to visualize all that stuff. And now I don't care. I really don't care now. If you owned like a yacht, I think that's pretty cool because it gives you a decent amount of life setup and some cool shit to go and do. But you can just rent one anytime you want anyway. And does it make much difference to my life? Not really. I mean, if I was on a paddle board just in the middle of the ocean, just kind of, not the middle of the ocean, but you get what I mean, just out at sea, just paddling about, maybe in Portofino, just going around the water there, there's still water there. Or in Montenegro in the Bay of Kotor, I'd be like, yeah, I'm happy. Would I be as happy? It's close enough. It's close enough. You know, it's better. Like I've said to you guys before, this is not having a yacht here, zero. This is having a paddle board or a tiny boat, and then this is having a yacht. And people would say that sounds like a guy who doesn't own a yacht. If you owned a yacht, you'd be, yeah, but like, I know my happiness level. I'm 33 years old. I'd be really happy here, and I'd be just a little bit happier there. I think going from not having it to having a version of it is probably, it gives you a decent level of happiness. And that doesn't mean settling for a version of the things you want, like I spoke about in the past. That settling of a version of things you want is more here. I'm just saying like enjoyment, life enjoyment, because you don't need a lot, guys. You really don't. When you find pleasure in simplicity, you become really happy. Like if somebody said to me right now, I can give you a lime green Aventador, I'd be like, I'll be honest with you, mate. I'd be like, unless I can take it, can I sell it? Can I immediately sell it? Yeah, if you want. I'd be like, then yeah, I'll take it. But if they said you're stuck with it, you have to drive it every day, I'd be like, I think I'll pass. I'd be like, it's just going to be hassle. I just don't think I'm interested in parking that thing and driving it round. And I'd maybe do one night. I'd maybe just do one night driving it round and just be like, yeah, it's not for me. And I think that's a really healthy position to be in. I think you guys have to be very careful of a lot of the guys on the internet right now, because 90% of them, and I mean this because it's true, you can trace it, want to be mega famous, and you can tell because they were all on like Love Island. They were all on reality TV shows. I mean, you can go back and you can look, there's probably 80 to 90% of them were on a reality TV show before they did what they did now. They just want to be famous. That's all they want to do. They want to be famous. They want to be loved. They've got massive egos, they're very insecure, and they just want people to love them. They just want fame, they just need those numbers. They would rather have 1 million followers than 1 million in the bank. And that's kind of their mindset, but as a byproduct of that, they get the money, but they more so want the money so that they can, like, I don't even need a car and I know I'm still me. I don't need an expensive watch and I know I'm still me. I don't need massive muscles and I would still be me. If I didn't live here in London, I just lived back in the garage, I'd still be me. Wouldn't make any difference to my life. I don't need expensive shit. I don't need a beautiful woman on my arm to walk into a restaurant and be like, I'll go and sit in there on my own. I'll have the time of my life. I'll just enjoy myself. I'll order what I want. You know, just have a bit of fun and then I'll leave. It's actually half price when you go on your own. So I wouldn't even be, I wouldn't be worried. That's how you have to operate. Because guys, I promise you, you don't need a lot. You really don't need much in life. And we're getting it pushed on us now that you need like 10K per month, 20K per month, 100K per month. There's somebody that's done, I mean, our top end, I don't want to go into crazy figures, but it's been 6 figures and above on our best months. I don't really care. I just don't really care. Does it speed stuff up? Does it allow us to get more shit and grow the business? Yeah. Does it affect my life? Not really. I'll be honest with you. My bills are probably lower than ever when I leave this place. Probably the lowest bills I've ever had, because I've gone through those moments of the flashiness. I've gone on dates when I was younger and been like, I'm going to do this and do that and all the expensive one. I'm not going to check the bill when I pay. And it's like, you start just realizing how stupid you feel. You know, you think that the car is going to impress her, and any girl that goes nice car, it's like, yeah, this is silly. It starts to hit you over time. You do these things and then you realize like, actually, Yeah, this is waffle. This is just nonsense. I'm just filling my brain with crap. I think Jim Carrey said it as well. He's like, I want everybody to become rich and famous beyond their wildest dreams to realize how stupid it all is. And is it good for like setting your life up in a certain way, making sure your kids are safe and making sure that they go to a good school? Yeah, that's important. But that's what we've lost sight of, guys. We've lost sight of the important things. And don't ever get caught up in this social media world, because so many of the guys that are online, they want to be famous and they want to be in the lime green Lamborghini, so that you go, you're the man, nice car. And they go, yes. Like, that's what they want. That's how they live. That's literally how their brains work, is if everyone thinks I'm the man, my job has been accomplished. They don't actually want to be with the woman that they're with for her. They want to be with her because she's beautiful. And if they walk into a room or post her on socials, everyone's like, nice. Like, they're with that woman for the boys. That's so gay. That's the softest thing I've ever heard in my life. That's massively insecure. I would be with a fat, ugly woman if I thought she was the best woman. The beauty of it is you don't need to be, because you can have a woman that has everything across the board. But if she was my woman and I was happy, look at Declan Rice, the footballer. That's a secure man. His woman's a little bit on the plus size and he doesn't give a shit. He just does not care. And people say you could be with a better woman. He's like, no, she is the best woman. Like, fuck off. That's it. I love that. That's a nice way to live. And you don't need too much. Like, I promise you guys now, if you were doing like 5K per month actual profit, you can have an amazing life if you don't want stupid shit. You can really set yourself up well and make some good investments, save a good amount of money. You're just going to get out of your head that like, oh, but once I get the money in the car, then I'll get the woman. It's like, no, just be who you are from day one. Just be true to that individual. Does it help? Does it open the door? Does it make people notice you? Yeah, but sometimes for the wrong reasons. And the best thing you can have is that core stability. I don't mean in a fitness sense. I mean, the core stability is like here, your morals, stuff like that, the center line. Don't ever move off of that. I remember Jordan Belfort had a straight line sales system, and he was like, you go off here to Venus and Pluto. He was like, always bring it back. I do the same thing in life. Anytime it gets crazy, I start doing the Ancelotti meme to myself. I'm like, calm down, calmer. Just bring it back central and just relax again. Like Sean Strickland used to say this when he was fighting. He was like, I'm relaxed when I'm fighting. He was like, somebody punches me, I put my hand up, I block it stings a little, but I'm like, stay calm, stay focused, stay locked in. You got to treat life in the same way. You can never get too carried away with it. I'll tell you something as well. We were in Barcelona recently. There's about 4 or 5 of us, and one of the One in Mind members, he's a close friend of mine. We were walking up the road and we were just going for a coffee in the morning before we went to the VIP stadium to check out the seats and whatnot, which actually go live in January, so keep an eye out for that. If you're a member, you obviously get access, you get a +1. If it's free, I'll let you have a +3 if you want to bring people, but you have to be a member, of course. And we got it for 2 seasons too, I forgot to mention that. Champions League, La Liga, Copa del Rey, all the games, El Clasico, which I'm going to book out. But he turned to me as we were walking up the road and he said, to be honest, you only really need weather, good women, and safety. And I would probably add like favourable taxes to that. But if you just ran those 3, you would probably be really happy. If you just had beautiful women around you that were quality women that didn't sleep around, if you had good weather and, you felt safe, what more do you really need in life? And that's the thing. If you were doing like 5K per month profit and you had a good woman in your life, you had weather and safety, and you were just walking around in a place that looked good on the eye, you'd be like, I'm pretty happy here. But I think it's crazy because like we work really hard to get to the top and have all this stuff. And then we get to the top and go, I've just realized, and this isn't a bad problem and I'll explain in a minute, but you realize that it wasn't that shit that made me happy. It was becoming who I am today that made me happy. It's the little things. Like I've always said, I went from being broke and having a coffee to being a multi-millionaire that has coffee in nicer places. And it just cost me an extra £4 or £5 instead of costing like £2 from Costa. It went up to £8 because I was having one in the Savoy. Like that's the only difference. And I'm just doing the same thing. It's not a bad thing because when you're young, whatever motivates you, like me picturing the flashy car and like that lifestyle got me to where I am today. So whatever gets you to the dance, use it. If it motivates you, I don't care. But just be aware of how much you actually really need to be happy, because what a lot of you guys are doing, and I'm seeing it in this era, is you're chasing these astronomical figures and it's never enough. There's always somebody making more, always somebody doing better. I mean, Alex Hormozy made 117 million in a day. It just, most people will never get near that figure. I mean, I think one of my guys in the team was saying to me, I think he sent something to me earlier, which was something like 98% of guys will never be a millionaire. It was something like that. It was 98% of men will never become a millionaire on planet Earth. And it's like, yeah, that's pretty normal. Like, why did we ever think, like, why is it that everyone online seems to be a multi-billionaire, traveling the world, doing whatever they want, luxury cars? And it's like, because a lot of them are lying, so don't fall for that crap. But also it's their priorities. You know, I look for the guy who's got maybe a family, who's got like, he might not have a flashy car, but he's got the car that's, maybe it's a 2023 plate, it's safe, it looks good, and he gets his family in it, and he takes them on trips, and he spends his money on that. That's a different type of wealth. That's entirely different. That is like safety, and that's pure happiness, and that's serving other people. That's something that's for life. Whereas just, then you see a guy, like the kids who will be in the back of the car, and they'll see a nice Lamborghini come past, and they'll be like, oh my God, Dad, wow, look at that car. For all they know, their dad could be richer. It doesn't cost a lot. Guys, I was doing it for a while. I was having a look at like 570S, for example. The 570, I think it's 570S, or is it? Yeah. And it was like 1,100 per month. And it looked like a baller car. I could have brought the top down. I could have filmed all this footage and everyone would have been like, oh my God, you're the man. It's actually cheaper than, I mean, it's about a third of my rent here. It's actually less than my bills on my house in Granada, but it just looks a little bit flashier. I mean, I think the gardener, paying the gardener in Granada for like 3 months is actually more expensive than that. So, you know, it's like, it's not a crazy amount of money. It's just whatever your priorities are. It's where you want to put your money. You can get like, I can get the 720S, which is a proper baller car, all blacked out for like 2.5K if I put down enough money. It's 2.5K per month on finance. And then you just give it back when you've paid half, and everyone would be like, that guy's loaded. It's less than my rent here. It's actually cheaper than my rent. So right now I can move out of here, go and get one of those, drive around, film a bunch of shots, post it, and you guys would be like, whoa, Chris is killing it, man. Chris is rich as fuck. And I'll expose it for you. When I was walking around my house in Granada, which is, I mean, you're talking a house that's probably worth £800,000, so like $1 million USD. And I just put my hand on the wall to show the tiles, and I had my phone there, and everyone was like, oh, nice watch, bro. That's the world we live in. Not, wait, you own a fucking house. You own land that you're stood on that is currently under your feet. You own the bricks, the floor, the soil. You own everything in that building. No, just nice watch. That's the nature of the world. And it's like, it just depends what your priorities are. Your wealth could be in safety. It could be in family. It could be your life setup, your structure, the way you've done everything. You could put all your money into assets and be technically cash broke and have nothing in the bank. But you are technically rich, and a bank would lend you a fuck ton of money, because a bank would look and go, well, you've got about 8 assets, you've got 200K in the S&P. That is the most bankable asset in the world because it's almost a guaranteed return over a long period of time. Yeah, we'll give you a line of credit of 5 million. Do you know what I mean? That's tax-free money. Like, that's wealth in my opinion, but everyone looks at it as like what you have, not the setup that you've created for yourself. You don't need a lot to be happy. It's so much easier, like my friend said, and I'll end on this and say it again. As long as you got good women, good weather, and you're safe, what more do you really need?